Okay, so a new reason for Barbie to be banned. There have been a few countries who have banned the movie because it featured the nine dash line in a map of the world in Barbie Land, in which Europe doesn't exist. But anyway, that was enough to freak people out that China had undue influence, so they banned the movie. Now we have another one. Algeria has banned the movie because it damages morals. And now this was after the movie was already playing in the country. The cultural minister decided that after a few weeks that it needed to go. And the reasoning was it promotes homosexuality and did not comply with Algeria's religious and cultural beliefs. Now, I never saw the movie. I probably will never see that movie. But how exactly does it promote homosexuality? Barbie and Ken are boyfriend and girlfriend. There is nothing in the movie that implies that Ken is interested in another Ken, that Barbie is interested in another Barbie. I do not see anywhere, I have not read anywhere where homosexuality was even hinted. So I have no idea what this is about. And did not comply with Algeria's regional and religious and cultural beliefs, which could span a whole gambit of stuff. But I assume it's the homosexuality part. Private news site 24H Algerie was first to promote the ban, noting that the government informed the local distributor MD Cine and leading cinemas that the film was being pulled for damaging morals. The movie comes after Warner Brothers' billion-dollar hit was banned in Kuwait and has hit roadblocks in Lebanon. A spokesman for the Kuwaiti Ministry of Information told the BBC last week that Barbie promulgated ideas and beliefs that are alien to Kuwaiti society and public order. Okay, so they're alien to Kuwaiti society. What's wrong with alien ideas? Alien doesn't mean bad. And beliefs that are alien to the public order? What? What does that even mean? The Lebanese cultural minister Mohammed Mortada last week asked the Interior Ministry to take all necessary measures to ban Barbie. He said the film promotes homosexuality and transsexuality. What? No, it does not. There is a trans actor in the movie who plays one of the Barbies, but she isn't a trans Barbie. She just happens to be a trans actor playing a role in the Barbie movie. Supports rejecting a father's guardianship. What? What father? Undermines and ridicules the role of the mother and questions the necessity of marriage and having a family. Okay. So, I don't see where it's saying that it rejects a father's guardianship, undermines and ridicules the role of the mother. What are they even talking about? What movie are they watching? And questions the necessity of marriage and having a family. Oh no! This horribly overpopulated planet might have some people who don't want to get married and have kids. What? If these people ever learned about asexuality, it would make their heads fucking explode. Now, that is not to say that there aren't asexuals who don't want to get married, who do want to get married and do want to have kids. Not saying that, but the whole premise of asexuality is, especially with aromantic asexuals is, not interested. So this would just make their heads totally explode. I just do not understand where they're getting that from this movie. I mean, the premise of the movie is hating on Barbie because of the unhealthy beauty standards that Barbie possesses. Because let's face it, if you blew up that doll to human size, her proportions would be so ridiculous that she couldn't even stand. So I'm not understanding where all this shit is coming from. All I can think of is that because it's a feminist movie, because, Barbie realizes some things that by the end of the movie Ken goes all toxic masculinity on Barbie. Barbie's like, no. I don't understand. How is that rejecting anything? It's not like it's for everybody that everyone must get married and have kids. And if you think that, then you are a sad human being, because that is probably why you get a lot of horrible straight memes which end up on Are the Straights Okay? Mocking their spouse, mocking their children, or sexualizing children, because that's not creepy at all. Because they feel like they're miserable because, they felt like society is forcing them to do something they don't want to do. So now they're miserable. And this is propagating that misery because not everybody wants to get married. Not everybody wants to have kids. And what is with this having a family? Dude, you're married. That is a family. Just like a nuclear family is a family. Parents and kids. That's a nuclear family. Then you go out and in theory, you go out and you start your own family by getting married and having kids. Just being the act of being married is a family. Unless you are an orphan and have no relatives to speak of, you're part of a family somewhere. And, some people consider their friends their family because of how close they are. What is with this getting married and having a family? You get when you get married, you are already starting a family because you chose to enter into a union with someone. Anyway, the film is being reviewed by censors in Lebanon and is not currently programmed in cinemas. Let's see. Yeah. So Deadline has reached out to Warner Brothers and Algeria's culture ministry for comment, and that's the last we've heard. I haven't seen any updates, but look. The problem with legislating morality is that my morals are not going to be your morals, and as long as I'm not hurting anybody, it shouldn't matter. Obviously, there is a limit. Like pedophiles, they are actually sexually attracted to children. Many of them understand this and, go out of their way to prevent acting on that attraction. And obviously, it might make them happier if they could be in a relationship with children, but if they do, society steps in. So there are certain morals that are obviously horrible and hurt other people and should be quashed. But feminism? Really? Okay, You don't agree with those ideals. Fine. But how is, especially in this day and age where everything is so global and there is social media, how exactly are you protecting anyone? And even if they were to see this movie, that doesn't mean that a woman is going to suddenly be like, huh, I never thought about, not being a walking incubator until this movie. I'm going to stand up for myself. Usually, the people who are watching this movie already feel that way. This isn't something that's like, oh, never thought about that. So now I'm going to do it. No, I mean, there are ideas that I didn't know that existed. That doesn't mean I'm going to be like, huh, I'm going to start doing that. No, I'm going to live my life. I mean, yeah, there are ideas out there. I mean, there are religious ideas which make me want to barf. And I'm talking extremism here. And, but, and then it's not like I hear a religious idea and think, huh, that makes sense. I'm going to totally become religious because of it. No. I'm, I actually possess nuance in my thinking. I know some ideas suck, some ideas are good. That is fine. It's not going to change the way I see the world unless it's something really earth shattering that makes sense to me. But to assume that this movie was the catalyst, it could easily be that they got this idea from somewhere else already. But again, I do not see how this movie is propagating all these ideas like homosexuality or transgenderism. How? People throw these words around, these censors throw these words around without giving any indication they've watched the damn movie. Same thing with book bans. They give no indication that they've actually read the book. They just start claiming it's this, that, and the other thing. How about giving details as to what you find wrong with these materials? And, let us know that you've actually, watched the movie, read the book, whatever, instead of just throwing out these words as if they have meaning. Because in this context, they do not. Now, like I said, I did not watch Barbie. But from what I've heard, it doesn't do any of the things that they're claiming it does, except to as a catalyst for pointing out that toxic masculinity sucks, in the sense that Ken discovers that patriarchy is a thing and suddenly wants to enforce patriarchy in Barbie Land. And a bunch of the Barbies are totally fine with it, except for the main Barbie. So I don't see how that's homosexuality. I don't see how that's being transgender. I don't see how I don't even see how that's denying your parents their roles, because okay, first off, neither Barbie nor Ken had parents. They just are. And they're dolls. So, do you really think that Barbie was going to become a mother anytime soon? No. So, again, I have no idea where these criticisms come from, except that they saw that it's a feminist movie. And of course, feminism is a very scary word because that implies that women actually can think for themselves. And they just picked some scary words that they figured that their society will have a problem with. And so they're going to just go with it. So, yeah, that's just disheartening that, I mean, it's not entirely surprising because these countries are very religious countries. But actually, I think in the sense of Algeria and Lebanon, these are Muslim countries. But this is not, I don't think that this is specific to Islam. But regardless, these are really religious countries. So, yeah, they fit everything through a religious lens and their idea of Islam. Because not everybody has the same idea when it comes to Islam. So there is that as well, but that just tells you how crappy basing your whole way of life around religion is. I mean, if you want to live your life like that, awesome, do that. But not only forcing others, but preventing them from even learning that there are other ways to live. How how fragile does your ideology have to be that you are going to censor ideas? How fragile do you have to be to do that? Because if you truly believed that you were in the right and this is the right way to go about these things, you wouldn't be afraid of separate ideas. But yeah, it seems like when you mix religion with politics, you this is what you get. You get people deciding that they know better than you how to live your life. And you know, I this is a complete tangent, but well, mostly a tangent. I had a um Hindi coworker, a Hindu coworker, and I mentioned that I have no interest in getting married and and starting a family, because at that time it didn't click that just the act of getting married is starting a family, but whatever. And she's like, "No, in India you have to get married." And I'm just thinking about her daughter, who at that time was pretty adamant she didn't want to. And this is in the US. So there are still cultures, and it's probably because of religion, where it's just, plain as day that this is the way you live your life. And, she wasn't at all uh, zealot. She wasn't, she was a nice person, but it never occurred to her. She just matter of factly said, "No, you would have to get married," and not in a "oh, that sucks for you" type of thing. It never dawned on her that this might be a bad thing for some people. She just assumed that this is the way things are. So, and that's with being met with an idea that was counter. So she got out of that unscathed. She was fine. It's not like her brain exploded at the thought, or that she suddenly changed her entire viewpoint because I exist. So just watching a movie is not going to plant a seed, unless these are already people who are already thinking like this, and this is just um showing them that there are more people who think like this. It's not just you. And I if that thought is that scary, then you've got more issues than just a movie. If your ideology is that fragile that you need to censor ideas, then you have more problems, because it tells me that you know deep down that your so-called morals are not as good as you think they are. Because if you did, then they would stand up to these morals that are contrary to yours. But you're showing that they're not, that you don't believe that. So anyway, I think I've gone through this as much as I can, and I will see you guys in the next video.